Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Art of Being a Woman. I'm your host, Courtney, and today's episode is about the art of owning your decisions. I have some amazing tips that we're going to get into, five to be exact, and they are life-changing if I do say so myself. I have been a indecisive teenager majority of my teenage life, and although it seemed like it was benefiting me because I already had so many things on my mind, whether it was friend drama, relationship drama, school responsibilities, home responsibilities, you name it. Making decisions, even if they were as little as what should I eat for lunch? What should I do this weekend? I would really just think I got lucky. I have people around me where I can just ask them, what do you think I should do? This or this? And they would all give me their opinions, and I would listen to it because at the time it just made more sense and seemed a lot easier than having to make a decision myself. Now, that is all fun and games until you have to start making more serious life decisions for yourself when there aren't always people around you to give you advice on what you should do. So, we're going to get into how to navigate making small and big decisions in our lives. We're going to talk about why it's important that we come up with our own decisions and we do not rely on people around us, even if we love them dearly, even if they love us dearly. Yes, there's a time and place to receive feedback from people, but always remember that this life that you're living is 100% yours, meaning you are always responsible for every decision you make. So it is important that everything that you agree to do in life supports who you are as a person now and who you are trying to become in the future. When we take advice from other people, it doesn't diminish that fact. You can have someone in your life that guides you and you can go down that path and realize it's not for you, but you cannot be upset at anyone but yourself for that situation because you ultimately made the decision to follow their advice. So, let's talk about it because I am not immune to it. I believe that there are certain things that I'm not confident in that I would still reach out to close friends and family on their decisions. And I will tell you, even when I ask the people that I love the most in my life what I should be doing with my own life, and I'll think about it later on by myself and something doesn't sit right because I'm not excited about my decision. I'm not in love with it. And that usually means that it's not the right one for me. And it's normal to not always know what you want immediately. There are some people blessed. They are so self assured and they are so aware of what it is they want in every moment. And then there's people that are not. And I believe that that also stems from how often and how long you have been listening to your intuition. If you are someone that has been relying on other people for their opinions, then it might be harder for you to know what you want in the moment because you're constantly weighing a decision that you might want to make, then you're considering other people in your life. You might think, but they might say that that's not a good idea because they know me so well. And we just have to be careful with that because ultimately we really know ourselves best. We know what we're willing to stick with and stand by in life. And a good hint, whether or not you feel confident in a decision that you're making, is how you're feeling about the decision that you're making. If you're happy, if you're excited, if you're looking forward to the outcome of the decision that you're making, then you know it is right for you. If you feel unsure and uneasy, or you're not looking forward to the decision that you're making, chances are it's not the right decision to be making for you. And that doesn't mean that it's not good advice. It can be great advice, but it's our life, and we need to make choices that reflect what we want. And we don't all want the same things in life. So to be asking people outside of ourselves what we should be doing in our life is really counterproductive. So let's get into the 5 steps. Step one, stop outsourcing your authority. What does it even mean to stop outsourcing your authority? It means trusting others more than yourself to make decisions about your life. relying on external validation to guide your choices. This is why when we constantly seek advice or approval, it causes us to disconnect from our own intuition. And that causes us to make decisions that don't align with who we truly are. And that can lead to regret, resentment, or feeling stuck in a life that doesn't even feel like our own because we allowed other people to tell us how our lives should be lived. And that will never feel right to anyone. Life only feels exciting and fun and right when you listen to yourself, when you listen to what brings you joy. That is really your inner compass that will always guide you in the right direction. So it's very important to be aware of your own feelings, especially when you're making a decision, because it will really tell you whether or not you're making the right one. Now, a good way to recognize whether or not you outsourced your authority is to ask yourself if you frequently second guess yourself. And I'll be honest, there were a lot of areas in my life that I would second guess. It was my career, it was what I should eat, what clothing I should wear, and sometimes I had really good reasons why I was asking other people, whether it was career wise. I didn't have a career yet. So where did I go? I went to the people that I knew that had careers. But they will only tell me what they think is best based on their own life experiences. And if they were to be in my shoes and be my age and have the opportunities I had, that's what they would be doing. That doesn't mean that that's what I should be doing. And it's very important that we don't second guess ourselves in any area of life because then we end up living someone else's dream and not our own. And this can really be as simple as asking someone else what to eat for lunch. Most of the time, they're going to tell you what they would want for lunch. Let's say you really don't know what you want to get. No problem. That might mean you're just not that hungry, number one. That is something I notice with myself. If I can't decide what I want to eat, I'm probably not that hungry. A hungry person would know exactly what she wants to eat. And if that is the case, where you ask someone what you should order for lunch, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not what you wanted. So you eat it, but you're not satisfied because you weren't excited for it, because it wasn't something that you chose. It wasn't something that brought you joy. You got inspiration from what would make someone else happy. That was their ideal lunch, not yours. And so it's very important to check in with yourself and make your own decisions before you start asking other people outside of you their opinions, because it can really convince you that they know best. You know what you want. And if you don't know, you wait. You wait until the decision is so loud in your head, you can't ignore it. The key takeaway from this is that the most aligned decisions come from within us. Anything outside of us convincing us to do anything is pressure. And you never want to make decisions in life out of pressure. So practice pausing before seeking external input and ask yourself, what do I actually think and feel about the decision that I have to make? Also, it's important to remember there is no right or wrong decision. There is just you. Whatever you decide ends up being the right decision. Number two, doubt is a passing phase. Doubt is natural, but it's temporary. It usually shows up as a protective mechanism when we're stepping into something new, something that we're not confident in, and it's normal. The truth is, though, the ego in us likes to go. It likes to rush. I just saw this recently on Instagram. I believe his name is Jordan Fletcher. He posts really amazing, inspiring quotes. And he mentioned that the ego is always in go, go, go mode. It's now or never. Make your decision, or else you're going to miss out on an opportunity. That's what the ego is always going to convince us. We know that we're making a decision that's not coming from our ego, it's coming from our heart and our soul when we're not in a rush, because the soul is never in a rush. The soul knows its mission. So if you catch yourself feeling like if you don't make a decision right now, the world is going to end, you're going to starve because you don't know what you want to eat for lunch, just know that's your ego talking. For me, what I like to do is wait 24 hours if possible. And honestly, if there is a situation in my life where I do not have 24 hours to make a decision because an external influence is pressuring me, whether let's say I get a job opportunity, but they tell me if I don't accept the opportunity within 24 hours, I'm going to lose it. I'm not going to pressure myself to make a decision. Younger me would have probably fell for it because I would have thought, wow, if I don't take this job, I'll never get another good job. But that's not how life works. Life works according to you. So if I were to decide, this doesn't feel right, I don't like the idea of being pressured to accept a job so soon. I want to read over the benefits. I want to speak to people that have worked at the company. Let's say you have your own things that you would like to investigate before you come up with your own decision. It's okay to just pause. It's okay to not have a definitive answer immediately. If you are being pressured on time from outside sources, then really consider how you feel about the pressure. Does the pressure feel good? Does it feel exciting? Like, if you are excited to make a decision and you don't have a shred of doubt in your mind, and you know that no matter what comes your way, you're ready for it because you are so excited for whatever it is that you're choosing in life, that's how you know it's right. But if you're feeling this anxiety, this urgency, this like never ending loop of weighing the pros and cons of a decision, you need to wait, because you can be rushing yourself into something that you don't truly want on a soul level. It is just something your ego wants to decide on and claim because it thinks it's going to lose out on something and never get another opportunity again. So, a good way to reframe doubt is to recognize that it's a part of the process of making a decision, and it's not about if you are capable or not of making a decision. That's not how it works. Doubt signals where we can grow. This is an area where we're not so sure of ourselves. Maybe this is an area in our life where we're so used to having other people decide for us, or we're used to going to other people for support and guidance. And now we're given an opportunity where we call the shots. And isn't that what we always wanted as children growing up? I remember being a child and thinking to myself, I cannot wait until I'm a grown up. I really don't have to ask anyone for permission. I can do whatever I want. And now that we're adults, we're asking people what we should be doing. Now, some advice: when doubt shows up, don't get stuck in a loop of what if and worst case scenarios. Most of the time, that is just anxiety talking, trying to convince you to make a decision right away. When you give in to that anxiety that's pressuring you into making a decision, it wins, and it gets bigger and it gets stronger and it becomes a bigger fear. So it's really important to challenge the doubt that you have and be patient. Sit with it. What's the big deal? What's the shame in saying, I don't know? I can't give you an answer right now. Let's talk about this tomorrow. I can give you a decision in 2 days. That is allowed. It is your life. People cannot really force you to make decisions that you do not want to make. So, really stand with that. Stand with that fact. And if you lose something in the process of waiting until you're certain for something, it probably wasn't meant for you. Whatever is meant for you will work out beautifully. You don't have to change who you are and make decisions that only make other people happy in order to receive good things in life, in order to get what you want. The more that you stand firm in what it is that your heart and soul desires, you will be in alignment to receive everything that it is that you want. Now, step number 3: recognizing when you're people pleasing. I think we all know what people pleasing is. It's when we make decisions based on what we think will please other people rather than what feels right for us. People pleasing leads to burnout, dissatisfaction, and losing touch with our own needs and desires. It really keeps us from owning our decisions because it's always based on avoiding conflict or rejection rather than an authentic choice. I feel like sometimes people tell us their opinions and it doesn't feel bad. It makes us think, because sometimes someone can remind us of who we are truly. But if someone is going to give you an opinion and it doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel supportive to how you live your life, then that's how you know it would be people pleasing to give in to them. And you know you're people pleasing when you feel resentment and you're avoiding conflict and you're avoiding disagreement with someone. Or it's maybe rejection that you're avoiding. But again, it's you versus them. And whose back do you have? Their back over yours? That's not right. You have to stand up for yourself first and foremost, and then you can stand up for other people. That is how it works. And sometimes with people pleasing, we think that if we avoid conflict, that people are going to do the same thing for us. And it really, really isn't the case. You're going to build resentment and it's going to be no one's fault but your own, because at the end of the day, you make your decisions in life. If you decide to people please, if you decide to avoid conflict and rejection, that is on you. And it took me a while to realize that. And there's no shame in needing time to realize that. That is what life is all about. Once you realize it, do something different, change it up. Do not people please all the time. Once you overcome people pleasing, it will be very clear who it is that is supporting your happiness in your life and who is trying to control it. I just want to leave this step with one point. If you are in any sort of relationship where you have to keep your mouth shut because you're scared they're going to judge you, disrespect you, reject you, fill in the blank, that might not be a real relationship. And the only way to test it is to be yourself. And if they do not like what they see when they see you being yourself, then that is not a person for you. And that doesn't mean you're not a good person or that you're not a cool person. It just means that that's not your person. That is not someone that is going to add to your life. They're going to take away from it. They can do what they want, but you don't have to stay. When we stay in relationships where we are bending ourselves to fit what they want, that is our choice to make, to stay in that relationship. So please be mindful of the relationships that you are in and ask yourself, are you truly yourself around them? Can you really say how you feel and make the decisions that you truly desire? Now, step number 4, opinions of others are not facts. This was a hard one for me because there are some people in my life that I really respect. And respect is an interesting thing because you can respect someone and still not take all their advice. And it took me a while to realize that because I think growing up, at least for me, that was a sign of respect to your parents. Your parents give you advice and you take it into consideration because they have wisdom, they have experience, and they really do. But they have wisdom and experience of their life. And yes, all of our lives have similarities, but the choices that we make are ours to make and nobody else's. So even if we look up to someone, and even if they have the dream life that we truly want for ourselves, ultimately, you will not be successful unless you take your own advice and you make your own decisions. You can definitely ask them for guidance and inspiration, but it needs to be something that you chose solely because you wanted it. We cannot replicate anyone's life. We cannot imitate anybody's footsteps. We can be inspired by them, but we will only be successful if we follow our own heart, our own guidance, and create our own authentic path. So if someone gives you an opinion on your life, just know that means that if they had a chance to live their life again and they were given the same opportunities as you, they would do things differently, as they should. We're different people living different lives with different goals and different dreams. So please carry that with you every single time someone tells you something about yourself that, one, you might not have even asked for their opinion about, and two, maybe it is someone that you asked their opinion and you didn't like the answer. Again, it really has nothing to do with you. Stay anchored in your own truth and do not let other people's perceptions override your own inner knowing. Step number 5, and the last step, we have reframe mistakes as learning curves. So, mistakes aren't failures. I really don't even believe in mistakes because you can really alchemize any situation into something powerful. Every bump in the road creates self awareness, first of all, caution, and it honestly wakes us up. For example, imagine hitting a bump in the road while you're driving. Perhaps you were daydreaming a little bit while you were on the highway and you hit a bump and all of a sudden your eyes open wide and both hands go on the wheel and you're looking straight ahead. Yes, that is what mistakes are. They are reminding us focus. Something might not be in alignment with what you want. And that's a beautiful thing because sometimes in life we do daydream, we do get distracted, and we sometimes fall into autopilot when we are on our journey getting to where we want to be in life. There's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is if you forget to take yourself back out, because we are in control of every single moment of our lives. And every moment that we forget that, we give our power away. We give the power to other people to guide us and to remind us of what really matters to us. This is very important because fear of mistakes keeps us from making decisions at all. And this leads to indecision and missed opportunities. When we reframe mistakes as a part of self awareness and growth, we become more resilient and confident. We don't look at bumps in the road as an obstacle getting in our way to make our lives harder and to prevent us from getting to where we need to go. No, it's reminding you, wake up. There's something that you might not be aware of. There's something in the way that you're going after what you want that is not fully in alignment with you. And that's sort of how mistakes are. They're always guiding you to keep you on your path because you truly do want your path in life. You truly know exactly what it is that you want. You don't have to know step A through Z. You just need to listen to yourself to hear what step A is. And an example on this for me is this journey of content creation and podcasting. In the beginning, my only goal was podcasting, and I was honestly so nervous to start it because public speaking was my fear my whole life. Well, not my whole life anymore, but most of my life. And I started the Instagram account as sort of a way to start the process, but delay the podcasting a little bit because I was still shy. I was still not fully confident in taking that leap of faith on myself. And I remember I decided, you know what? I want to create some content without having to speak on a mic. And I knew deep down I was really doing that to avoid starting this project, but it ended up leading to something so beautiful. I ended up finding that I have a passion for writing and not just speaking. And I was able to learn about what it is that I am passionate about because before the podcast, I didn't really have a niche and a theme. I didn't know where I wanted to take it. And once I started to write, everything started to flow and fit perfectly. And at that time, if I were to go back and look at myself the day that I made the Instagram account, I would think maybe I'm making a mistake. This is not even truly what I want. But it ended up working out for me. It ended up leading me to a whole new passion in my life, which is writing. And it helped give me the boost of confidence to start this podcast and to talk to each and every one of you. Everything is either going to wake you up and make you more aware of what it is that truly brings you joy in life, or it's not a mistake at all. And you're going to feel so much lighter, so much freer, and so much happier to wake up and be you living your life every single day. So, I hope these 5 points did something for you, whether it inspired you, it made you think, and I hope it moved you like it moved me. Thank you so much for listening. Please feel free to follow me at my Instagram. She is Artfully Woman, where I post a lot of these topics that we discuss on the podcast in shorter form. I love you all. Bye for now.